Hey, welcome back to the Clemson Insiders. We continue our series with former Clemson baseball coach Jack Leggett, and we're gonna coach. We talked about the early years for you and the building the Clemson program there under you and all the stuff you did, and now we're gonna kind of talk about the final years and the transition from Clemson, if you will. How are your thoughts on how things ended for you at Clemson? What are your thoughts on how those final couple of years went? And I know you used to get tired of seeing me because at the end of the year, you see me sitting outside waiting on the ground for you to come out of the meetings with Dan Radakovich, and you'd be like, "What do you want to talk about, Will?" Can you talk about some of those things, and not necessarily me in your meetings, but just how those final years were?
Well, we were coming down the last few years there, and still felt good about what we had going as a team. We had a great recruiting class coming in. We had probably 3 first-rounders in this recruiting class. We had, Seth Beer, who was going to come early. We had Cal Raleigh, who ended up going to Florida State. We had Jackson Coar, who ended up being a first-rounder for Sully's team down in Florida that didn't end up coming. So I was excited about where it was going. I was excited that I thought we had ourselves set up for Omaha the next 3 years. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, you had Okie coming back, and you had Weston Wilson, you had Chase Pender, you had Eli White, Charlie Barnes. You had some really good pieces of the puzzle. And so I was excited about it and looking forward to it. The previous couple of years, we made the NCAA tournament, and every year but one when I was here. And so I just felt like we were on the right, path, and we had some good players that just finished up with Krieger and Duggar and all those guys, and a really good team chemistry. So I was excited about the year. We had some meetings at the end of the 2014 year, and it was a long meeting with myself and Kyle Young was in there and Radakovich, and we talked and felt like we aired some things out, got some things squared away, and was on to the next thing. So we're out recruiting and Campbell, a really good recruiting class of kids that wanted to come to Clemson. And then we got the tournament the next year again and came back and had another meeting, and I was led to believe that everything was good, and contract being drawn out on the grease board a number of years and all those kinds of things on a Tuesday when we got back. My intention was always to coach as long as I had it in my stomach to do everything I could to help Clemson win, and I had a good relationship with my players, and I had the fire to compete and the energy to do it. And so I always felt like I had several more years in me, and that's why I'm doing this USA baseball thing. It's not out of my system. So, I felt really good about where the program was headed and what we were going to do, and we had, really good tradition in getting back to Omaha, knowing how to get there, getting to super regionals and all those types of things. So, we had the experience to be able to take care of those things in the right way. And so I guess really the most disappointing thing is that I don't think, honestly, that I was led in the right direction or told the right things for a couple of years. And that's disappointing to me because I've always dealt with being upfront and the truth, and that's how I wanted to be treated. And so that part of it was a little difficult for me to swallow because I was led to believe we were on a good path and we were going and everybody was behind us, and then it just changed real quickly for whatever reason. So that's the disappointing part of it is there's really never been any closure to it. There's nothing when I go to the baseball field to see the 24 years or 22 years of body of work of our teams on the fence or anything there. And, to be honest with you, that's disappointing because that's not the Clemson that I know. And I really feel like, the administrators that I had, Bobby Robinson, Dwight Rainey, Terry Don, were always, Billy D was always involved with everything. We're always really good to me and always believed in our program and were very comfortable with it. And so I always had a lot of confidence. I was never worried about 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, 2 years down the road. I was just worried about taking care of our business that year and then moving on to the next year. And so that's probably the fans have been great. Every time I show up to a football game or show up to a baseball game or around town or Chick-fil-A or wherever I'm at, they're great to me. The people are really good, and a lot of great fans, a lot of people with good memories, a lot of people that appreciate what we did over time, which is difficult to do, and to be consistent for a long period of time. So, but I think that's probably the disappointing part of it is I think I was, I don't think I was told the truth for a long time, and that's hurtful because that's not how I, deal with things, and that's not how I remember Clemson as. And so I'm hopefully, it can get closed up and done the right way sometime down the road.
Well, here in the last year and then going on this year with Coach Martin, you're seeing Miami. Coach Morris had a farewell tour. He's their Hall of Fame legendary coach down there. Obviously, Coach Martin is the legendary Hall of Fame coach at Florida State. And they've kind of gotten their farewell tour, and not just from Clemson people, but like from people all across the ACC and opponents they play, rivals and stuff they play, like Florida and stuff. You didn't get to have that opportunity. Is that really, is that something that would stick in your craws that you never got to have that farewell tour, not just with the Clemson fans, but also with ACC baseball fans?
Well, when all this happened, I heard from every ACC coach, and every ACC coach was baffled beyond, beyond their mind about how it happened and so forth. And so I think it is disappointing that I wasn't able to walk off the field, tip my hat to the people that supported us for so long on my own terms. And I deserved that, I think, and our program deserved it. And it was something that I worked hard for and done things the right way for a number of years, and gave my heart and soul to Clemson, gave them everything I had, and there were a lot of good moments that are tough to come by. That's all I had asked for at the end, is when I felt like I was done, which I don't know when it would be, but I'm not one of those guys that would ever hang on and hang on and hang on and take the program in a bad place. So I felt like there was a lot of good things ahead of us immediately. And with a new facility coming and all that type of thing that I had worked so hard to try to get and to be supportive of and contributed to, and never be able to walk in it, as it was a difficult thing to swallow. So to me, that's disappointing that I was never able to walk off on my own terms and tell everybody how much I appreciated them at the field.
You mentioned the facilities. You were at the end of your career there, those last couple of years, you were going around and you were calling donors, asking donors, and trying to help out as much as you could to get that facility built. You put your own money into it as well. Can you talk about that, and are you disappointed that you never got the opportunity to coach in those facilities that you helped bring along?
Yeah, we talked about that facility for a long time, and it was one of those things that we felt like we needed, and it was so I was involved in the planning of it. I was involved in the meetings, every meeting, picking out the flooring, the graphics, the the design of the building, the furniture, all those types of things, and was very excited about it. I contributed $25,000 of my own money to it, and was heavily involved in trying to make that work because we felt like that could take us to another level. And unfortunately, I never got a chance to step in it, and never got a chance to be able to appreciate what it could do for us and what it could do for the players. Because the previous 2 years, one year they were tearing up the field to put the extra things on, so we really never had a field. Except we had a barrier around our field in the fall, and so we practiced, but we didn't have the full facility. And we also, because of the building, we didn't have a locker room for a whole year,
That's right.
And so we were changing up there and guys on top of each other the whole time. So it never really got a lot of flow going during that time. We weren't able to have our own space, and but it's not any excuse or anything, but it's just one of those things that we were willing and able to work our way through that to get ourselves into the new facility, and unfortunately we weren't able to. I wasn't able to get in there with my players, and I knew it would be something that would help take us to another level.
Kind of switch gears just a little bit before we get done here with this segment, but you have a very good relationship with Coach Sweeney, and I know you guys text and talk a lot. And what was your relationship like with him, and your thoughts now as you see what he has built here at Clemson with the football program?
Well, I think it's pretty obvious. He's got energy, he's got passion. Those are all things that you have to have as a coach if you're going to be successful. And your players are alongside with you and they believe in you. So that's the number one quality. He's a tremendously organized person. He's got a plan. This is how it's going to be. This is how we run our program. And again, that's another good quality that a coach has to have. He's one of those guys that he surrounds himself with good people, and he's able to, whether it be budgetary or facility-wise, he's able to, put all those things together along with his infectious personality and, his knowledge for how to handle these kids. It's been quite a thing to see, and I'm very excited for him. He's a good person, got a great family, got great coaches around him that I've been able to meet. I was actually out in Colorado skiing in February, and the football staff was on the way out there, and their families and so forth. And I happened to be out there the same 5 days. And so we were able to eat together a couple nights and ski together a little bit and reconnect. And he's just got a lot of good people around him, and he knows how to treat people. And I think in the end, that's going to make you the most successful at anything.
Now, who's the better skier, you or Dabo? I know you're both super competitive guys. So who's the better skier, you or Dabo?
Me, no question.
No
question.
Not even close?
No question about it. No, not close. He's trying. He's working at it. He's an athlete. He'll pick it up. But I got some years' experience on him.
Yeah.
And I'm a little more. I guess we're both live on the edge a little bit. I live on the edge a little bit more, so I go down little different trails. But he's into it. He likes it, and his family likes it. And I think Brent Venables is the one who's lives on the edge as much as anybody in the world.
Really?
So I think he's not afraid to go in different places.
So what you're telling me, if you were a football coach, you'd be a defensive coordinator?
No question. No question. Be on the defensive side somehow.
I love it.
I want to tackle somebody. I want to hit somebody.
I love it. Well, Coach, thanks so much for being with me on this segment. We'll have more with Clemson former baseball coach Jack Leggett in the days to come, so stay with TCI.